Alright guys, we're back with another video today on the Infinity Game Table, and today we're actually not looking at a game, but rather an app that we're looking at, and it is called GT Tabletop. So this is actually made by a third-party developer, Sperry Studios, if hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is for all the people out there that always wanted a digital table to be able to create their own maps when they're running RPGs locally with their friends, being a dungeon master and stuff like that, like running Dungeons and Dragons. Well, this lets you actually create your own map and create your own objects and kind of draw your own objects on a map and then have it easier to kind of run your tabletop adventure and your RPG adventures with your friends. So there's a lot to dive into here, so let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are at the main menu of GT Tabletop. So like I said at the beginning here, this is not a game that I'm obviously super familiar with, or not a game, this is not an app that I obviously use all the time. Unfortunately, I don't have a game group that I have locally here that we actually play, you know, RPG games and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. For those of you guys that do, I at least wanted to give you a showcase of what this app can do a little bit, even though I don't know too much about it. So at least you guys know it exists and that this is something that you can get on your Infinity Game Table, so you guys have it here if you want to see it. So this is the main menu here, as you're looking at here, which looks good. And then the main thing to definitely talk about, which is what I looked at and I want you guys to look at, is the tutorial. Now, most of the times we all think, oh, we should just skip the tutorial. And something like this, you guys definitely have to check it out, because it tells you exactly how everything works and everything that this app can do for you as a dungeon master running things like Dungeons and Dragons or running your own RPG sessions and stuff locally with your friends. So you can see here, it goes through all the different things. You can, it tells you how to create your own maps. It tells you about all the map tools that there is in the game. It gives you all the things for tokens and sheets. Everything you can do, you can even draw yourself. How to save and load the basic tokens, the GM drawer, how to void tokens, how to activate traps, the player bags, all that kind of stuff is here and showcases how to actually do it. So it's definitely something you want to take a look at. But just for a showcase here, I'm going to go in here and click on map, of course, which is if I was designing a map. So you can see, I'm just going to go through quickly what is available here. So you can see, if I click on this here, you can build your own ground, your floor, your walls, your objects. So if I were to just click on ground, you can see the different ones that they have on here. Let's say I wanted to do a blue. So there's my map. Now it is blue. Let's say I wanted to build a floor here. These are the options I have for a floor. Let's say that I wanted the whole floor to be wooden, for example, over here, and I kind of did one of these, and then I designed it to go this way, and you know, whatever you want to do to actually build this here. So let's say that that's what my design was, and then I go back to, and then I say I want to build a wall. So you see all these different walls that there are. Let's say I build this wall here. Obviously, I'm terrible at this. I'm just trying to show you guys here what it looks like, but you guys get the idea. You can use all of these different objects. You can then, you know, create more walls as you're going through. Create these walls to then kind of do that. And then you can go over here and select objects, and you have all these different objects you can do. So you can put some trees around in different areas. You can go back and then select, you know, let's say this was a door and I wanted that there, whatever the case may be, and you go ahead and you design your map however you want it to be with all these different things that you have on here. Once you have your map designed, and obviously I'm talking really fast here because, like I said, I'm not completely familiar with this whole thing, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what you can do with something like this. There's also the ability to draw your own. So obviously they're not going to have every object and every token or everything that you want. So you can actually come here, let's say I selected blue and then I made this here. I can go ahead and make a custom token, for example. Let's say that I just did that for a custom token because I wanted to. And let's say that I wanted that there. You can go ahead and save it, do whatever you want, and make all of these different objects by hand if they don't have the objects in that drawer, which is really cool. And you can come over here, and you can customize all the player tokens, which is really cool. So you can customize the player 1 token, player 2, all the 5 player tokens, so you can play with up to 5 players here really easily and make their tokens all different so they stand out. And you can draw your own token, you could select tokens, all that kind of stuff is here. And then you can also customize other tokens in the game. If you want tokens for NPCs, let's say you wanted to have an NPC over here that people can talk to when they go over to it. You can create an NPC there and have a token for that specific NPC and kind of create that, which is really cool. So a lot of customization and a lot of room for imagination too with your own drawing and all that kind of stuff here is pretty cool. And now, let's say you created that whole map, you saved it, you did everything you wanted to do. You can obviously come into the play section. Your map would be here. Of course, I don't have anything to load, but you could load the map that you created right there by loading it. But this is the standard map. Let's say that I did nothing. Your map would be loaded here. You can see all of these player icons right here and this drawer here. Now, if you open this up, this is your player drawer for each individual player. So every player can have this open if they want to. And then you have your dice you can roll right here. So you can have that. And then this is your player piece. Of course, everyone has the same player piece, but like I talked about before, you can customize it. But if I had them customized, you can obviously go here and, obviously move your player piece across the board based on how many you rolled, all that kind of stuff. Go to the NPCs, go explore while the dungeon master is kind of running things. You have a pen here that you can choose a color, choose a size, and then kind of draw anything you want on the map if you needed to draw something, that kind of stuff. You have this is obviously something you would fill out when you're customizing the map, so there's nothing here. But if you customize the map and you give each player a specific name and their health and their armor and what they're going to start at, it would be listed here, which is really cool. So all that is customized, which is really neat. So I think there's a lot here for players to get excited, for people who wanted something like this for their Infinity game table, where they can be a dungeon master and kind of have a tool like this in front of them, where they can customize, a map for themselves, which is really cool. Even have their own drawing abilities and all that stuff. So this is, in my opinion, really cool. Unfortunately, it's probably not something I'm going to be using anytime soon, just because I don't have a group of friends that actually play Dungeons and Dragons and kind of run stuff like this. But I think a lot of people in the community have been waiting for something like this to come to the Infinity game table, because I've seen a lot of people talk about it. So it's cool that we have something specifically designed, and hopefully this is something that they continue updating. I'm sure people are going to have their own thoughts on other objects that they want to see in here, to make it easier for them instead of drawing it by hand, because obviously drawing on here is not the easiest thing. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff like that people are going to want. So hopefully it's something that they do, because there is a little button right here that says concerns and suggestions. You kind of scan that, and then you can kind of send them your suggestions. So hopefully you guys give them your suggestions, give them what tokens you want to see, what improvements, and what else you want to see on here, and they add it in here. So really, really happy for all you guys who wanted this. I just wanted to showcase it so you guys know it's here and what it can do, and it's definitely something I recommend if you're looking for something like this. So if you guys have any questions about this, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.